I want to make a comment also. We haven't talked about the role of local and state government in being a laboratory for what works in America. You know, through the years of the Great Society, whatever, the growth in the federal government, which was not historically the way America grew. And Jeff, if I'd had you for constitutional law in law school, I would have gotten a much better grade because you really get it, make it very exciting.
It is exciting.
I like it. But anyway, we forget that for most of our history, right, Jeff, our country was really governed by local and state governments, not by the federal government, particularly in domestic issues. And so we need to go back to that and rethink the role of the federal government being supportive and being a source of funding and whatnot. Terrific. Good ideas. What makes community works is what's really closest to the people. And I would dare say working with community organizations like foundations, like businesses, like the people in business who volunteer, and the volunteer community, the not-for-profit community, working with the local government, their local representatives that they see at the grocery store, that they talk to every day. I mean, it's a little different to be in Washington and removed from the day-to-day of people's lives and living with them in their locality. Ambassador Haley had the experience of being a governor, of knowing what goes on at that granular level of governance. And so I really think as we try to think of what is going to make us believe in our country again and believe that it works again, the role of local government must be highlighted and understood.
And you know, it's interesting, and there is a power of the role of local government because, you know, it's been said that the people who are closest to the problem are generally the ones closest to the solution.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, and, you know, I think about it, you know, from my time in the military, you know, your time as a platoon leader is your best experience because you know everything about every member of your platoon. And the higher up you move in the ranks, the further you are removed. And so the further you're removed from actually being able to understand the everyday things that are going on in your individual soldier's life. And so that's one of the powerful things about local and state governments also, is they're also the ones who are closest to hear about what's going on and to be able to then grow out the ideas that are working. You know, I think Gene brought up a great point about, you know, this role of technology and the role of these entrepreneurs. I mean, I think about things that we're supporting right now, one thing called Fresh EBT, which is, you know, this is a guy who founded Facebook groups. And then he obviously did pretty well because he founded Facebook groups. And then he said, I now want to spend my time focusing on poverty issues. And he's created something called Fresh EBT, which is a technology which helps people manage their benefits. And so whether you're on WIC, food stamps, you know, regardless of which benefits you then qualify for, SNAP, it helps you to better financially manage the benefits and also helps you to eat better. And there's tracking mechanisms that you can put inside the app. There's another great entrepreneur that created something called Good Call, where everyone knows kind of like the witching hour, you know, when you're arrested, the first 2 hours are the most important hours after you are arrested. And who your first phone call to, there has a chance of actually increasing the chance of your conviction by 75% if your first phone call is not to either an attorney or to a family member who can then get you proper representation, right? And he's created a technology, which is a basic algorithm that connects to switchboards so that the first call that you make will be to both, first it will notify your family where you are, and then it also notifies a public defender that is now going to then serve as your legal representation. He has managed to cut the conviction rate for the people significantly, and now it's in the Bronx. Now they're talking about incorporating it citywide. These are local people, local people who have their ear to the ground about what's going on, found a need, are creating something interesting, and now local governments are saying, well, why shouldn't we be doing this? And it's just a smart way of thinking about scaling bright ideas that can then have a long-term impact on populations and communities that we serve.